What is up, MFers? I got an exciting video for you guys today. If you watched, what was it, a week ago or so, Cole? Dropped off the brand new Bass Cat Puma 2025, which just so happened to be identical to last year's model. People were asking me, do you like the boat? Do you want a Bass Cat? Do you think you'll go with them again? You've been with a bunch of different brands. What brand are you going with next year? Went with the exact same boat, literally same color, same engine, same everything for the most part. We got a couple quick changes. Now, since then, some stuff has changed. One, I announced to you guys that, of course, I'm fishing the Bassmaster Elite Series this year, which I wasn't really planning on making that an announcement. I just kind of wanted to tell you guys about the new Slaunch Master Series. And two, not only have we rigged it here at Milliken Marine, got everything freaking dialed in, it's so clean. I'm so excited to show you what's back behind Cole right there. But Adam from Graphics Gurus also came at the exact same time and got the old Bass Cat wrapped up. So we got a lot of stuff here. We got a couple sponsorship announcements, we got a wrap reveal, and we get to show you everything with Milliken Marine and all the different badass products that we get to put on the Bass Cat right back behind us. So without further ado, I guess we gotta show them the wrap, right, Cole? Let's jump into the wrap. Let's do it.
I'm not sorry. I can't help this love like mine.
So as you guys know, BASS requires Elite Series pros to run a wrap. That's a old Ray Scott thing. We were trying to make the sport more professional, trying to make it look a little bit more like NASCAR. And you guys have seen NASCAR, the cars are loaded up with all these different sponsors and wraps and everything. Well, when that kind of was installed, that ideology where people should put their sponsors on a wrap, it was a lot different time. That was pre-internet. That was before all the marketing that's, you know, substantially more beneficial than just your typical billboard marketing. That was before any of that happened. So back then it was billboard marketing. It was recognition of different logos on people's jerseys and on their boats. And that's why it was a huge deal. Well, things have changed. Times have changed. Things have evolved. And I'm trying to kind of progress things along, try to get things to evolve in this sport. I don't think I'm better or more special than anybody else or the person that can necessarily do that, but I feel like the more we talk about it and the more we can get the idea out there that there's a lot more beneficial stuff to do than just putting a logo on a boat or on a jersey. That helps out the angler, that helps out the organization, and that helps out the entire sport. So it's required to have a wrap still this year. The only specification on there, of course, it has to be approved by tournament officials to make sure it's not inappropriate. Can't put all the stuff on there that Cole wanted to, but we also couldn't have a clear wrap. So we didn't do clear. We went matte black. We got the murder boat. Adam from Graphics Gurus came down here. Honestly, he's so talented artistically and had so many awesome design ideas. He'll throw together an entire wrap design, entire jersey design for me in like hours. Get it all dialed in exactly how I want it. It hurt his soul a little bit, I know, for me to tell him, dude, we're not doing any logos this year. We're not doing anything at all. We're flat gonna go matte black finish. Sent me some different samples of different types of matte blacks, and this is the one we landed on. This thing looks so badass. I freaking love it. Of course, got to have our name there, and then we'll put our bass. They require you to have the Elite Series, the Angler of the Year sticker, and everything. I think there's like 3 or 4 stickers that will go right here. Besides that, we're going all black. Doing that one, like I said, so there's no logos, because I know for a fact that it's not a very good way at all for me to promote my sponsors. I do that with my mouth on my videos that you guys watch and actually show you how the products work to millions of people every single year. But also, there's definitely an issue in our sport these days with people, you know, seeing a pro fishing somewhere with a wrap boat and then that spot gets blown out really quick, or even fellow competitors. I'm not going to say people do this on the Elite Series, but it's pretty easy to see where someone's fishing. You blast down the lake, they're like, oh, there's that guy. You go to weigh in, that guy had 27 pounds. You're like, maybe I should go check out that spot tomorrow. Well, we're gonna be as low key as possible the entire season, whether we're fun fishing or we're on the Elite Series tournaments. That's why I went with all black, and it looks good. Okay, like I said, we got a couple new sponsors this year, and we're gonna get to that in a second, but I wanna say before anything, I had several opportunities. I didn't even tell you guys this, but I had several people reach out, said that they would pay me to work on my boat, pay me to rig my boat for this upcoming year. And I didn't even think about what I was gonna do. I'm like, I'm bringing it to my guys, because there's a trust factor that goes into something when it's your job, and you got to have it working all the time. And if something does go wrong, you can get it fixed right away. And that's what these guys do, and they're freaking experts here at Milliken. And I'll put their information below. So many UMFers have made this a stop if you're in the Houston area or even from out of state. So I want to give you guys a shout out before we go any further, because this is where I not only get my boat rigged every year, it's who I trust, but they do all my work as far as, you know, keeping the engine in tune and all the little things that might go wrong throughout the year. They pretty much do everything from freaking, you know, any mechanical work, any type of cosmetic stuff, any type of stuff on the trailer. You guys, you're one-stop shop. So before we hop into some of the pretty electronics and stuff like that, let's get down to the bones. I reposted this actually this morning, I think it was, because it is so freaking clean, and this is one of the things I loved last year that I had never had on my boat. This clean and this accessible, and I love this. So I'll let Michael show you guys kind of what they did with the rigging back here with the electrical stuff.
So obviously this is Ben's job, so it needs to be redundant and be able to easily work on, because I can't travel with him no matter how much he would want me to. So we kind of came up with this system just for him, where each individual accessory is ran on its own 10 gauge wire. Okay, we have 2 switches. We have a switch dedicated just for the electronics, which is the red one, and we have the black switch that is his boat power. We have 2 fuse blocks. One can be 16 or 12 volt, and then the other one is only 12 volt. They're connected through a common ground. And then over here we have a circuit breaker, which is basically how it comes from Bass Cat, but it's located over here on the battery. And it just made more sense to move this over here so that he had one general area he could work on. Everything's labeled, marine grade wire, super redundant. I mean, it's labeled everywhere. If he has no idea where it goes, that's on him, that's not on us. So
it's nice too. You guys did something like this. What gauge wire are each of these?
10 gauge.
So these are 10 gauge wire, and I get questions almost every single video when you watch like my forward facing, like my live type videos, saying I cannot get my image that clean. How is your image that clean? This is a huge part of that, is running clean power. Clean power and no power loss is absolutely huge. And I'll just be straight with you. I could do it, but it would not look like this. You guys have seen some of the stuff I've done to my boat. Looks like a toddler did it. And it also wouldn't hold up either.
Actually, toddlers could do better.
Yeah, that's a good point. Ozzy probably could show me a few things about staying tidy, and that's saying something. But this stuff in my other boat, my last Bass Cat, it held up all season long. I didn't have to do anything to it, but we got everything labeled, really easy to get to. And it's not something where there's like a harness and you got to figure out, you know, what's going where, or is the power coming from a block up front, or is it coming from back here? Is it going to the switches? They run, you know, wire directly to each unit. Like there's my live scope unit we're going to get to. We even got some spare stuff up here. You know, what's this mean? 360? I don't know. We'll have to go look up front and see what that means. Everything is very simple. 9500, you're going to see that too. It's easy for me. If there's an issue, if there would be an issue, boom, power goes from here to there. That's all I need to know. And I'm not a very technologically sound guy when it comes to this stuff. I'm good at catching fish and about nothing else. Just ask my wife. So yeah, that's one thing that's awesome. And then we did this again this year that I really like, and maybe when we talk about the batteries it'll make more sense, but we got a 12 volt, a main power switch here, and then this is a 16 or a 12 volt, so I can switch between those if the 16 would take a crap, if it would run out of power, whatever, which we haven't had it do either of those, I don't think. Maybe run out of power one time when the fuse went out at the hotel, but I can switch it right over to 12 volt, boom, I got the 12 volt power, no problem at all. So I guess if you don't have anything else with this, we'll kind of hop into the battery side of things. It is nice with the Bass Cat. These compartments are open all the way up. They're massive, and they completely come off too. You can take these off, which I love. As you guys know, we got the Milliken battery, the 16 volt special. That's, I think, the most amp hours on a 16 volt of anyone in the industry. Thing's huge. We still got some for sale, I believe, at Powerhouse Lithium, but running Powerhouses and got the exact same setup as last year. Once again, a lot of opportunities to work with other companies, a lot of opportunities to, you know, switch things up, make different choices with how I rig everything. And instead we went exactly the same as last year. I did not have any failure. I wanted it to do the exact same stuff. So we got the 16 volt right there. That is only for electronics. It is for nothing else. So if the electronics go out, whatever, I know it's the battery or something is off there. 12 volt battery right there, the starting battery. Quite simply, that's the switches and the starting area, everything up there. And then we're running two 36-volt batteries in parallel right there. And that is total overkill for the trolling motor, but why have one when you could have two back there, right? So that's something, I mean, people have been asking like about the battery compartment here, saying it's kind of funky with Bass Cat. And it is different, you know, with the two gas tanks here, which are 30-gallon gas tanks, and I love that. But it is different, but as you can see, you know, we got 4 batteries here, no problem, no issues with storage space. We probably could figure out a way, you know, going across the center there to rig them even more if we needed to, but I'm definitely not gonna need to, just letting you guys know. So again, 2 30-gallon gas tanks. That was nice last year. A lot of full-size bass boats have 50 or 48 or 46-gallon gas tanks. 10 more gallons can actually make a huge difference, especially some places when you're running 60, 70 miles, you can get there in a Bass Cat and you have to stop and get gas on other boats. So I do love that, and I will love it as we go forward. Something exciting moving forward, and for this season, we picked up a sponsor, and you might notice right back here, we got some power poles on here, and it's the brand new ones, the matte black power poles. They're hopping on as a sponsor. They wanted to work with us and get some badass products, and I was like, you know what, Power Pole's a trusted name. I'm totally down with it. Let's freaking do this. And you might see something else in just a second too that is theirs that I'm switching up for this season. But yeah, it's awesome. We got the Power Pole blade, 10 footers. These things are rock solid. Like I said, I don't really care what things look like generally, but they are matte black, so it's pretty badass that it matches the wrap and everything. And another sponsor right up there we're going to talk about in just a second. Bass Fishing Electronics has hopped on to sponsor us this season. Marine supplies, mounts, you know, all different types of electronic stuff. Boat little parts like this badass light up here. That way I can, you know, I can forget my light that comes with the boat. And it's just so much nicer not to have to screw in and unscrew your light every single time. So that's one of the many products we're going to talk about from them right there, Bass Fishing Electronics. Though I'll link everything in this video below that we got. But yeah, power poles right here. I think Michael was going to show this, but it's not super exciting. So a lot of you guys know Power Pole came out with this last year, I believe. Wasn't it last year they released it? Just like last year, we have pumps, and they are accessible through this weird triangle compartment right here, which is a nice access spot if you don't want to get all the way in here and you want another spot to put stuff like this pump. But Power Pole changed up, and they have a 1-pump system now. So there's no longer a need for 2 pumps. And this 1 pump's actually smaller than the 2 that I had last year. So now we've reduced size, we've reduced weight, and these 10-foot power poles seem extremely light, and they seem very, very durable. We will put that to the test, as we will with about everything in the boat, to see how durable it is.
What's super cool is if one of the poles does fail or something goes wrong, there's like bypass valves, so he can just operate just one. And one thing we also did is we made custom hoses for him, because Power Pole ships you whatever 20-foot hoses, I don't know how long. So we had custom ones made so that we didn't have a bunch of excess hose lying around.
Nice.
Because last year with the Minn Kota ones we had a lot. So we got custom ones made this year. So.
Badass. And then you had something you were going to show in the other triangle compartment there as well.
On this side of you're not going to be able to see it, but he has a USB that he asked for a camera, and then up underneath here is his 3-bank charger from Powerhouse. It's a 12 or 16 and 36 bank, so he can charge all his batteries off of one charger off the wall. So yeah, and
that's something people aren't really talking about a lot too these days. We have more electronics, we have more battery power than ever. A lot of the guys have to run, you know, at least 2 cords to their battery system every single night, so that's super helpful. Powerhouse has that all-in-one system to do all 3 different sizes of batteries, because that's why people are, you know, you can't do a 36 volt or a 16 volt or a 12 volt all the time with the same charger that comes in the boat. Powerhouse solves that problem for us. Uh-oh, what do we got up there on the steering wheel? Got some dang comedians here. Was this you guys or was this Adam?
Oh, that was me.
Got some comedians here. We got handcuffs. Real nice, guys. I'm gonna have PTSD now when I drive down the lake with my boat. So obviously, topic of controversy, which it's bass fishing in 2025. It's just one topic of controversy, is the electronics, of course, in the off season. And one thing that came out of that was that we can only have 55 inches maximum of screen. Now that seems like a lot, and truthfully it is. I mean, the average human being or fisherman, you don't need 55, 60, 90, 200 inches of screen to go out and catch bass. Trust me. Everyone on the Elite Series knows that. You don't have to comment that every video that you don't need that many inches or that big a screen to catch fish. We all understand that. We all freaking smoke them with 0 screens. The thing is, it's a level playing field, and the guy that has bigger screen or a little bit nicer this or that, they have a little bit of an edge in the competition. And since we're fishing against the best fishermen in the world every single time we launch a boat, it's good to have the best possible electronics to give yourself every possible edge, because it's not even fathomable how good everyone is that's out there. So with that being said, the way that we're gonna mix things up, or I guess piece together our 55-inch limit of screens, is we'll start right here on the console. You guys can see it, brand new Humminbird Explorer 12s. If you hadn't seen it, I think I'm able to say this, but Humminbird, I believe, is discontinuing the Helix and Solix line. And so what's gonna replace that, they're gonna keep the Apexes that I ran last year, and then they also introduced this Explorer series, which I think the biggest one is a 12-inch. I think that they're 9, 10, and 12. Michael, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
You're the marine dealer. You know a little bit more about this than me.
Know.
I'm running the 12s, and for those of you guys that had Apexes or were able to update them, the new update actually gave the same interface that this Explorer series has, and it's really badass. It's really convenient as far as exporting waypoints, as far as adding waypoints, and just the general layout is an upgrade. And so this Explorer system comes stock with that installed. So awesome that we got that installed up here. Also, we have right here, you guys can see it, we got it finally, Cole. We got damn stereo system that Michael said it even works this year. Comes with the boat, and it's just a little wireless remote. Is that just it? That's just the remote?
We actually don't even need that. It just hooks to your phone.
That's it? Just goes straight to the speakers?
Straight to the speakers.
Is there a receiver or anything?
No receiver, no nothing.
It's
straight
just
to your phone.
magic.
Yeah, it's magic.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really nice.
That is cool.
We'll see.
Maybe it works, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But we got that. Bass Cat, you'll notice, maybe some of you guys will notice, maybe some of you won't. There's a little bit different touch panel. This is starting to hurt my hand. I'm gonna take that off right now. I think they're for like kids or your old lady or something. Small wrist though. But yeah, it's a little bit different panel right here. Everything else appears to be the same. We're gonna talk about what's right here in just a second. And then you guys might notice something too. We got freaking badass bass boat technology mounts in this boat from Bass Fishing Electronics. Bass boat technology, again, amazing mounts of all different types. They custom made what we're about to go look at up front for the boat, and they sell them there at Bass Fishing Electronics. So we'll kind of go talk about that in a second, but we'll kind of whip around here and I'll show these guys. Not only do they have a great mount right here for all different types of boats, for the console, for the bow and everything, this mount actually is curved, so the units are facing me right here, and they have just individual electronics mounts that are nicer than what comes stock with any manufacturer, whether that be Humminbird, Lowrance, or Garmin. So much thicker, and we're gonna see up front what's a little bit nicer about those two, and we'll kind of talk about what's not nice about them as well. But rock solid, thick. I mean, if you're gonna spend what we have to spend on electronics these days, you gotta protect your investment, and they will flop around, and they're very heavy. So I've heard from people that they will flop around anyways. I don't know whose would do that. But yeah, we're not gonna have to worry about that this year. Looks freaking sharp. Come back here, Cole. I forgot to show this to people that's really badass too underneath. I installed this last year from Bass Fishing Electronics, and again, something that you'll never see in a video, something that seems very minuscule and not important, but something that is like so badass is this mount right here for side imaging for our transducer from Bass Fishing Electronics. It mounts directly to the transom. So look at this thing. I mean, all the mounts every you know that have always been around go straight to the transom right here. And one, you're drilling holes in your fiberglass. So I don't care how solid it is, over time, you know, you're gonna have to recalk, you're gonna have to reposition, and it's very easy to hit it and have it tear out, or they're all made so they kind of flip up. So you ever hit anything it's gonna flip that up. Well, one more thing that sucks about it, as someone that's always had boats and had to install new electronics and new transducers all the time, is you gotta have it the perfect angle to make sure that it's staying level, it's staying parallel with your boat. If it goes up, it goes down, you're not getting the proper image when you're shooting out to the sides. This is all taken care of by having it mounted perfectly level, rock solid mount from Bass Fishing Electronics. Is that wireless?
Yeah, wireless, no wires. I'm just kidding. No. We just do such a good job at hiding the wires.
I should probably look at it easier.
That's a top quality mount right there.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure.
There it is.
Super sturdy.
Okay, disregard the part about it being wireless. I don't know why I'm carrying these around still. So I'd be honest if I said I wasn't a little bit worried and nervous about this, because it's always scary to change. And as you guys have watched my, videos for years, the last like 4 boats or 5 boats I had, I've had the same trolling motor. And once again, like I said, after what I've heard and looked into and talked to the guys at Power Pole, we decided to go with the Power Pole Move. This motor right here is 40 or 50 pounds lighter than the exact same power trolling motor that I've been running. You know how much weight 40 to 50 pounds is? I guess it's 40 to 50 pounds on the front of your bow. They say every pound at the front of your boat on the bow is like adding what do they fucking say? Every pound on the front of your boat is like 10 pounds compared to what it would be back in the cockpit area. So it would be similar to if I had an extra 500 pounds, 400 to 500 pounds in the cockpit area, as if I had the old trolling motor on the bow of my boat as far as performance and speed goes. So I'm excited, 1, for that, but 2, I've heard this thing is badass. It's a workhorse, even though it's the same pound thrust. It's brushless. It's supposed to be very quiet, very, very fast, but it is different everything, so something we'll have to get used to. It's smaller, which I like a lot. It's taking up less space. As you guys can see, we did not custom build a panel to move the trolling motor over, because we'll show you the screens in a second, but we did not have 3 screens, 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top like we had last year. We only have 2 screens, so we were able to, I'm gonna keep saying I didn't do shit. These guys freaking mastered this. I don't think you guys were too sad that we didn't have to custom fabricate the entire front of the boat this year.
It made me so happy, but if I had to put another trolling motor on this boat, I was going to take it and shove it up his butt.
Yeah, I can't blame you there. They had some shipping issues apparently, because there was like a freaking hurricane in Florida and not hurricane, a damn winter snowstorm in Florida and Texas. The Sambech is here now, and I'm excited to use it. You guys did put these on here though. I was looking at those before it was even mounted.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
So on the Bass Cats, there's a nav light right here, so it needs to be elevated. If this was just sitting on the deck, it would be like this, right? So I guess Power Pole makes these brackets, so they sent us 2. And what's super nice is if he does need to change out his trolling motor, they're in threaded holes. So at every threaded hole we could get to, we put bolts in, we Loctited them. So if anything were to happen, it'd be very simple to change. You don't have to take panels off and get a washer or a wrench and stuff and do it.
Yeah, it's machined screw ports into there, right? So
Yeah.
that's incredible. Like it looks like I have 10, 2 here too.
Yeah.
Bolts. I just unbolt those and take the whole thing and it's off. That's
Don't
awesome.
have to open that panel and stick a hand up under there.
This is something that's different. The foot pedal. We'll kind of get up there and look at that in a second. It's a foot pedal, but it's a little bit different. Something we'll have to get used to. I said, some people really like it. Some guys have a hard time getting used to it, but we'll figure it out. So this is my mounting system. Bass Boat Technologies custom built this mount, and this is the one to use if you guys get a Bass Cat. It's just the way that the Bass Cats are made. So I think we talked about this maybe a little bit. They're a little bit funky up front because this is a narrow area to put between the trolling motor and the sidewall here. But it's also, it goes down. There's a dip here before this deck material starts, which is nice because it's a good place that you can have the wires. You can figure out what mount you want, but it kind of sucks because you got to figure out a way to raise that up level. And also you can't have screens directly in front of the trolling motor. They are gonna have to sit off to the side a little bit as long as you do what you're supposed to do and put the trolling motor where it is, like it is now. So Bass Boat Technologies builds the mount that you want. It hooks to the front, this step on the front deck as well as down below, and sits nicely up here. They were showing me as well, Mealy was, that these bolts can come out right here, and that lets the entire system kind of swing forward, so it's more accessible to get your hands down underneath here where the wires go under the deck, which is really nice because inevitably you end up down there multiple times throughout a season. Also comes with a holder for Cole's beer, and looks like maybe I can get some, I don't know, some tools in here. It's kind of tilted off a little bit, but I know everyone wants to know, here's our screens for the year. So like I was saying, Bass Boat Technologies makes these more flush, super robust, badass mounting systems, and they're lower in profile as well. So that kind of created an issue because I told him I was gonna have Explorer up here in the front, and this is an Apex, and they do not fit, even though they're almost the same. You guys can see stock how much higher of a profile. It's a couple 3 inches higher, and now my screens are offset kind of goofy, and this one can kind of impede my vision of the screen a little bit up there. This is semantics, but when it comes down to it, I mean, you got everything new, you got everything like you want it. You want it to be exactly how you want it on something that I want to be perfect. So we do have the correct Apex lower profile BBT that is coming, so it'll be a little bit more flush. But with that being said, here's what we got for graphs this year. We got an 18-inch NBT Marine. They weren't really a sponsor or anything last year of mine, but I fell in love with the screen. If you've been following along in the industry, the NBT screens have made a huge splash. Basically, they are mirror screens, and I didn't understand how that would be helpful at first until, you know, I started running one, and I ran a 22-inch last year. Again, we have screen size restrictions, so I'm doing an 18-inch NBT this year. Still way too big of a screen that anyone would ever need to catch a fish or even use forward-facing sonar, but if you can have the best, you might as well run the best, and I think it gives me a little bit of edge to have a bigger screen possible. So that's what we're running up there. We'll show you how we're getting a forward-facing image from our LVS 32, which we'll see in a second, in just a minute. Mike will show you that. Right below it, we have the Humminbird Apex 13. I'll tell you why in a second, maybe not a second, sometime throughout the season, I'm gonna show you why I chose an Apex, and that is because there is an extra HDMI out mount plug back behind there that we do not have with the Explorer series. So not only that, but it's 13 inches instead of 12. Wow, huge difference, right? The funny thing is, if you want to start doing some math, we have 18 plus 13. What does that equal, guys? 31 plus 24. What does that equal? 55. Okay, we're good to go. I thought it was kind of funny to make it exactly 55. So that's what we did for the year. Another thing you'll notice on the trolling motor, we have a 360. Now, you guys know my position. I think it's absolutely the most ridiculous thing ever to limit our forward-facing sonar units, to limit any type of technology, because we're trying to educate others in the sport. We're trying to, you know, help people catch more fish. That's our main job. Of course, there's the entertainment. You want to watch guys get excited, win tournaments, whatever. But our job is to educate. There's only 100 of us on the Elite Series. To cut back on what we're allowed and restrict what we use is absolutely a joke. And the reason for it, of course, is because, you know, we're pandering to the people that, you know, are going to sit and complain on social media, which is too many people these days. It's still a very, very small fraction. But I'm not afraid to say, like, that's literally the reason. And we're also pandering to the guys that think the reason that the younger guys or guys that are good with new technology, they think that that's why they're getting their ass kicked by them in tournaments. And that's actually very, very far from the truth as well. I think the guys that go over to NPFL that where they have no forward-facing sonar, they're going to learn that pretty quick this year. That's the biggest thing that I will be watching NPFL for this season. Anyways, it sucks ass. I can't run a forward and a perspective at the same time, because perspective, what an unbelievable tool perspective is that we get to use. And we can still use it, but the problem is I can't use it in conjunction with forward. Perspective is such a great learning tool because that paints so much bigger of a picture. When they're able to plug that into your Bass Live, or even just put a camera on it when we're out filming, so much better of a picture that it paints to be able to see in a landscape mode, just a pizza slice of what you're fishing in front of you. It tells so much more of a story. So it sucks that we can't do it at the same time. So to kind of take a little bit of that, I put a 360 on. We'll run that through the Apex as well as some of the mapping. So we'll get a little bit of that. It's, to me, I'm just gonna tell you straight up, like I like using a perspective, whether that be the Garmin version or the Humminbird version of it. I've never used the Lowrance, but I like using that a lot more than the 360, being able to see in live time what's in front of you. But we're gonna use the 360, and that'll help us tell the story a little bit as well. Now, if we go down to the shaft here, like I said, LVS 34 transducer, and this is on these new mounts from NBT Marine. These guys are awesome. They're called the Trident mount, and as you guys can see, we have 2 of them rigged up. And the reason for that is I'm able to switch in and out pretty quickly, as quickly as I possibly could, between perspective and forward modes on my transducer. So if I want to make a quick change, I pop the trolling motor up. Honestly, I was telling Michael I'll probably just have one of these guys at all times because I don't want to leave it down there screwed in loose, but I can pop it up like so. And this is already taking more time than I would ever take on the water probably, so they'll probably never do this the entire time that I'm fishing. Cole's watching, he's taking notes right now, so he knows how to do it. And you guys get the point. But the good thing about this this Trident mount from NBT is it's a lot better than the stock mounts that come from Garmin or from any forward-facing. And they have more teeth. It's rock solid. Like, this thing doesn't have the give that the ones have from the factory, the stock mounts. And as you guys can see, we can switch, boom, in and out from forward perspective really, really quickly if needed. I'll just leave that like that for now. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. Probably made a bunch of people that I'm fishing. It's sad, but I'll be getting some text messages in about. No, I'm just kidding. When people are pissed off, they don't actually talk to you about it. They just say it to other people. They don't call you or text you. They just tell other people, and then you hear about it, or they do it online. Michael, I'll let you say this part. He installed something that you've probably never seen before on a fishing boat.
Yeah. So I installed an anchor light.
Wow.
Whoa. I mean, out of all the work I did on Ben's boat, this is what he's most excited about, and the radio. I put all this stuff on and nonstop asking me about this thing.
You're like, where do you want the radio? I was like, here, I guess. You're like, all right, it's mounted.
Done. So from my understanding, Ben's going to be doing a lot of live streaming this year, so he's going to be running one of those stick things where he can plug in his phone and live stream. So we put this up here directly in his casting lane so that you guys can beat him during these tournaments. So yeah, that was it. We took the cup holder out and used it for the GPS puck for the Lowrances, for the Humminbirds. So yeah, that was it. I don't know why he's so excited about it, but yeah, I mean, literally 5 minutes done. If you're happy, man,
it would have not taken me 5 minutes. I know that. That's what I'm happy about. Yeah. We do got to show. Let's hop in the rod locker up there. I think I'll let you do that. So NBT, and this is just for now. I know some things that I can't tell you guys about what we're going to do with NBT in the future, but as of right now, it's just a mirror screen. So basically, you have to have, I'll just say Garmin. You have to have a Garmin right now, and you can mirror it off that. So last year I had my 12-inch Garmin running in the rod locker. So I had a whole unit with the screen and everything going in the rod locker. This year, so you can do that, or the other option you can have is what Michael installed in the rod locker. And actually, I can't do that this year. It came out, we cannot have a screen running anywhere else in our boat besides our phone, or else it counts towards your inches. So if I would have had it going in the rod locker this year, it would have counted towards my inches, but I'll let you take it away, what we threw in there and what it looks like.
And every inch counts.
Every inch counts, my man.
Just ask my wife. So like Ben said, he's not running a graph in here, so he's running a 9500 series black box, which is basically a fish finder without a screen. They use them in yachts and offshore boats a lot because they have like those ginormous screens in offshore boats. So it's just mounted up in here, and then right next to it is his GLS 10, and basically that NBT is just the screen for this super powerful processor. Let's just put it that way. So it's all mounted in there. He can get to it. It's all labeled. You know the deal. You know how we do it here at Milliken Marine. So I think it's somewhat Ben-proof. Ben did say, hey, give me as much room for my soft plastics as possible. and I think I achieved that.
And we have the that little Humminbird modules there too. I forgot about that.
So with the Explorer units, they only come with one network port in the back. So basically that means you can only run 2 together. So you need a Humminbird Ethernet box port, whatever it's called, network port. So that's what we did this year so that he could make all these network. With the Apex, not really as needed anymore because that has 2, so we could have just ran everything through there. But it's really nice. If something were to happen, it's a lot easier for him to change out cables or a port than it was in the past. So yeah, that's that.
This is freaking rock solid. The way that Bass Boat Technologies makes this NBT mount. So the NBT comes with 3 screw holes and comes with this locking gear that goes in all 3. And I also like this, they got little bumpers here, so it's funny, you can't even, there's no separation there either direction. I don't even know how that could come off. We'll try, but I don't know how it could. Well, that's the walkthrough. That's everything. Definitely comment below. Let us know if you have any questions about like, hey, why did you do this? Why did you put that on there? What we think you should do this. I'm open to suggestions. I know people that watch YouTube videos. I love you guys, but you've been known to have a few suggestions and ideas and opinions about things. So, yeah, definitely do that. But couldn't do it without the help of these guys. Like I said, I could get my boat rigged a lot of places and I have to go somewhere that I trust somebody, and I trust these guys with all my equipment. They obviously, from what you guys just saw, the cleanest freaking rigging ever. So super jacked about it. Yeah, if you guys have anything that you need fixed here in the Houston area, really anywhere in Texas, definitely feel free to, I'll put their contact information. And you guys also, you spend a lot of time on YouTube and putting YouTube videos out
lots
too.
of YouTube. So. There'll be a video of all the work that we did on here, minus the final walkthrough. And yeah, you can check it out, show you what we did, kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah, man. I'll link their channel below though. If I know a lot of people that, especially if you watch this, are probably into boat rigging, and you're doing a full remodel on a boat back there. So all different types of cool boat rigging, mechanical type stuff. Zark will probably be watching.
Yeah, probably.
But, all right, we'll catch you soon. I'm out of here. Peace.
I'm not sorry. I can't help